Hi, my name is Elisa, and I'm a Canadian living under Italy's COVID-19 lockdown. I've been seeing a lot of posts on social media lately, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, of people really not taking this seriously, making fun of people who are nervous about it, and just generally totally missing the point. Well, let me tell you something. I live in Italy, which I'm sure you know is under lockdown right now. The entire country of 60 million people is under lockdown. And why is it on lockdown? Well, it's on lockdown because people weren't taking it seriously. People didn't think it was that much of a threat. People just wanted to do whatever the hell they wanted. They wanted to go about their lives, go about their daily routines, and not worry about this thing that people are freaking out about. Because of this careless mentality, Italy is now the second most affected country after China. At the moment I'm filming this, we have over 20,000 people who are infected, and these numbers are growing rapidly each day by minimum 2,500 people. So it's a big deal. A lot of you may be wondering what this lockdown actually entails. So basically, I'm not allowed to leave the house unless I absolutely need to. It's not that I can't leave, but I have to have a good reason for it. So getting groceries is a good reason, obviously, because I need to survive. People who need to go to work can go to work, and anything else that's deemed necessary. Now, you have to have a piece of paper with you, an official thing that you can download from the internet where you write where you're going. Some of you may be wondering what the grocery stores are like in Italy right now. They're completely full. There's nothing, the shelves aren't empty like they are in North America. I don't know why everyone's hoarding so much stuff in North America. There's really no need for that. At least here, the grocery stores are full. The only thing that you can't find is alcohol and hand sanitizer. But besides that, everything is normal in terms of the products that are available. Now, what has changed when you get groceries is that they only allow a few people in at a time, and you have to stay at a minimum 1 meter distance from everyone. But again, we do have access to food, so there's no need to hoard stuff. If you need to leave the house, there are police and military in various parts of the city who will stop you, ask you for that piece of paper to make sure you're going somewhere you actually need to be going. You're not supposed to be visiting friends. You can't go visit people, hang out, and do whatever you want. It shocks me that even in Italy, even now under this lockdown, there are still teenagers going out and hanging out with their friends. I don't know where their parents are, but this is so unbelievably irresponsible, and they really need to stop and stay home. Now, I want to address some of the things that I've been seeing on social media and hearing from people in general. For example, I'm so tired of hearing about this. Why is everyone freaking out? Everyone stop freaking out. I don't want to hear about this anymore. Get used to it, because this isn't going anywhere. It's like, I'm sorry it inconveniences you that people are dying, but this is a serious thing, and it's not just something that people are freaking out over for no reason, because I'm here and I see what's happening. Now, another thing I keep hearing is, I'm not gonna get it, I'm young, even if I do get it, who cares, like, I can handle it, I'm not gonna die. And yeah, maybe you won't die, but you still might get sick. And you still might get pneumonia, and you still might have to go to the hospital and get treated. So either way, having pneumonia is not fun. You're not invincible. I'm not trying to say that you're going to die from the coronavirus, but a lot of people have this mentality where they're just thinking about themselves. And maybe you are healthy, and maybe you won't be that affected, because in young people, a lot of people don't have severe symptoms, or they don't show symptoms at all. That's not the issue. The issue is the people who cannot handle getting sick. So people with a compromised immune system, people who have a chronic illness, old people, because the majority of people who are dying are old. I feel like people are forgetting that these people are human beings. So I don't know why no one seems to care about the people who are the most vulnerable. It doesn't really make much sense to me. So again, maybe you won't get it, but what about your parents? I know my parents' generation is at risk. Your grandparents are certainly at risk. Let's say you get sick, but you don't have any symptoms, so you don't know you're sick, but then you go visit your grandmother, for example, and then she gets it. That's really not good, because a lot of old people are dying. So everyone really needs to be careful right now. Another thing I keep hearing that's really annoying is more people die from the flu. The flu's more dangerous. Why are people freaking out about this all of a sudden? It's just the media overreacting. Let's consider this. Hospitals are already full enough as they are, and they're already understaffed as it is. Let's add this coronavirus into the mix. So we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people who need treatment. Now, again, a lot of the cases are mild and they don't need treatment, but there are a lot of cases who need a respirator, and there aren't enough respirators going around. That's the issue. The issue is that there is such a high volume of people, on top of everyone who's sick for any other reason, who's in the hospital. On top of it, we have this thing that's spreading like crazy, and a lot of people need respirators. And there aren't enough. So in the north of Italy, the hospitals are so full that they have to bring patients with military planes from the north to the south of Italy so they can get treatment. That's how serious this is. So a lot of people are dying. Hospitals can't handle this volume of people. It's too much. So what do? Well, as you've probably heard, we flatten the curve. It's not getting sick that's the problem necessarily. It's everyone getting sick at the exact same time that's a problem, because how is anyone going to get treatment? And what's happening in Italy, especially in the north where the hospitals are totally full, is they have to essentially select who lives and dies. And what I mean by that is they have to triage like they do normally, but it seems to be, it's to a more dramatic extent now because of how many patients there are. So if they have a patient that's my age, 25, and they have a patient who's 90, and they have to choose which one they're going to treat, well, they're going to choose me because I'm younger and healthy, and the old person is nearing the end of their life anyway. So people are left to die because the hospitals have no choice. They're giving treatment to everyone they possibly can, but there's just not enough. There aren't enough resources, there aren't enough spaces, and there aren't enough doctors. So hopefully at this point, you're on board and you understand that this is a serious issue that you need to take seriously, and you need to take some damn responsibility, because everyone needs to take responsibility in this situation, because otherwise it's just like, it's going to be disastrous. And what I mean by that is that Canada, the United States, Australia, and several other countries could have a situation very similar to Italy's situation in a very short period of time. Because not too long ago, there were Italians saying, I'm not going to let this change my lifestyle. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to go out, see my friends. And those people look so dumb right now because of the situation we're in, where everyone's under lockdown. Your behavior directly affects the people around you. And I don't think you want to feel responsible for the death of other people because you weren't caring and you were carrying the coronavirus without realizing it. So now that we're hopefully on the same page, and what can we do? Well, the best thing you can do is stay home. Please stay home. Do not leave the house unless absolutely necessary, because it's the only way that we're going to prevent tons of people from getting infected. If people had been self-quarantining earlier in Italy, we wouldn't be in such a crappy situation right now, because every single day makes such a huge difference. And yeah, you might feel a little bit bored, but is it really worth people dying because you're bored? Like really, you're bored and you're going to risk people's lives for that? If you can work from home, work from home. Obviously, there are other things you've heard, like wash your hands properly, so at least for 20 seconds. And wash your hands way more than usual if you're out all the time. If you can't wash your hands, use hand sanitizer. I know there's a shortage of hand sanitizer right now. Don't touch your face. That's another great thing you can do when you're out. Schools are closed in a lot of countries right now. If schools are closed and your kids are at home, do not let your kids play with their friends, because even though kids are, for the most part, not showing any symptoms and not getting sick, they're bringing it home and they can infect their parents, which can infect their grandparents. I know it's probably really difficult to get them to sit still and stay inside all the time, but it's not worth the alternative. Most importantly, if you are sick, this is back to the stay home thing, but if you're sick, stay home. You don't have to have severe symptoms to not leave the house. If you have moderate symptoms of anything, if you have mild symptoms, if you have a cold, if you have the sniffles, if you have a slight cough, I don't care. You have any symptoms of any sort, you stay home, because the coronavirus is not affecting everyone's body in the same way. So some people are getting a fever of 104 degrees and other people are just having a slight cough or just feeling a little tired. So it really varies from person to person, which is why it's so important. And there are also people who don't show any symptoms, which is why it's so important to stay home, regardless of whether or not you're showing symptoms of anything. So please, for the love of all that is good in this world, stay home. Do it now before it's too late. Because what's happening is the governments in maybe the States and Canada and Australia and all these countries are not putting the countries under lockdown yet because they're waiting till the numbers get worse and then we'll deal with it. Well, it's going to be too late by then. So do it now, because in Italy, we didn't do it early enough. Do it now before it's too late. Now, too late doesn't mean everyone's going to die. It doesn't mean you need to panic, but too late means you're going to be under lockdown like we are. And the longer you wait, the worse it gets. So right now in Italy, we're still having increases in numbers because we're seeing the effects of what we did 2 weeks ago. So it's going to take at least another week and a half or 2 weeks until we see the results go down, I think, because of how we were behaving 2 weeks ago. So what you're doing right now, you're not going to see the results of that until 2 weeks from now. Now, what can you do when you're at home? You're probably going to be bored. Here's my suggestion for what you can do. Clean your house. do things you've been putting off. Get a hobby. There are so many things you can do at home that you probably haven't been doing because you've been busy going out and all that stuff. If you don't have any hobbies and you want some ideas, I did an episode on a podcast that came out yesterday. The podcast is called Time for Your Hobby. I'm going to put the links down below, and there are tons and tons and tons of episodes about people talking about their hobbies. My episode just came out yesterday, so watch that if you like. I talk about singing and songwriting. There are loads of things you can do. Use this to your advantage. Don't think of it as being stuck. Think of it as an opportunity to work on yourself and work on skills and learn something new and maybe improve yourself as a human being. So that's all I have to say about this for the time being. Thank you for watching. Please, please, please share this video. It's really, really, really important. I want as many people to see this as possible. And yeah, so stay safe. Bye.